Babylon, in the year 550 BCE. The world lay under the shadow of powerful empires, and the night air was thick with the weight of destiny. In the royal palace of Ecbatana, Astyages, the mighty king of the Medes, awoke from a nightmare that chilled his bones. Sweat poured down his brow, and his heart hammered in his chest. In his dream, from the womb of his own daughter, a single vine had burst forth. It grew and grew, stretching its tendrils across all of Asia, until the palace itself lay buried in its shade. The symbol was clear, but the meaning was terrifying. Summoning his seers and dream readers, Astyages demanded an explanation. The oldest among them, voice quivering, pronounced the verdict. "O king, the child soon to be born from your daughter shall rise to overthrow you. He will cast down your throne and become the master of all lands beneath the sun." Fear gripped Astyages' heart. Determined to defy fate, he issued a cruel command. When the child is born, end its life at once. Yet, destiny is a river that cannot be dammed. In a small, humble village cradled in the Zagros Mountains, a baby boy drew his first breath. His cries echoed through the night, not with the wail of fear, but the promise of greatness. That child would not only defy death, but would go on to change the world forever. His name was Cyrus, later known to all as Cyrus the Great, father of the mighty Persian Empire. Today, let us journey through the extraordinary tale of a man who, in just 30 years, reshaped the face of the ancient world. The story of Cyrus begins like a legend whispered by firelight. Harpagus, a loyal general sworn to the king, was charged with carrying out the grim order. Yet, as he gazed upon the baby's innocent face, his resolve faltered. Unable to commit such an act, he entrusted the child to a shepherd named Mithridates, far from the reach of royal eyes. And so, Cyrus grew up not in a palace, but among wild hills and open skies. He learned to survive in a harsh land, tending flocks and facing the challenges of nature. The shepherd's son was different. Charisma shone in his eyes, and even the village children followed him, inspired by his natural authority. One day, when Cyrus was just 10, the children elected him king in a game. He organized them, commanded them, and even punished a nobleman's son who refused to obey. This incident soon reached Astyages. The king summoned the boy, and as he looked into Cyrus's eyes, he saw a reflection of his own bloodline. The truth dawned. This was the grandson he had once ordered killed. Surprisingly, rage gave way to pride. Astyages recognized in Cyrus a spirit too powerful to be denied. He brought his grandson back to the palace, determined to educate him as a prince, perhaps hoping to shape the boy's destiny. Little did he know that in nurturing Cyrus, he was feeding the fire that would consume his own throne. The years passed, and the world changed. By the age of 17, Cyrus had returned to Persia, the ancient homeland of his ancestors. The Persians were a proud people, but they lived as subjects of the Median Empire, their hopes shackled under Astyages' rule. The elders counseled patience and submission, but Cyrus saw another path. He spoke to his people not as a prince, but as an equal, a brother in arms. "Will you remain slaves forever?" he asked, his voice ringing with conviction. "Or will you seize your destiny and become masters of your own fate?" Thus began a revolution, not of bloodlust, but of vision. Cyrus knew that to topple the Medes, he needed more than swords. He needed hearts and minds. When his small army captured their first Median city, Cyrus issued an unheard-of decree. No plunder, no slaughter. "Those who wish to return to their families may go free," he announced. "Those who wish to join us will be welcomed as brothers." The results were astonishing. Median soldiers, tired of tyranny, flocked to Cyrus's banner. They saw not only a chance for freedom, but a new kind of world, one built on respect, not oppression. The decisive battle came at Pasargadae in 550 BCE. Astyages, now an old man, led his forces to crush the rebellion. Yet, as the armies faced each other, it was clear the tide had turned. Cyrus strode onto the battlefield without armor, bearing only a white flag. He called out to the soldiers, "We are all children of the same land. Why shed each other's blood? Let us build together a kingdom of greatness." A miracle unfolded. Entire units of Median troops laid down their arms and crossed to Cyrus's side. Astyages was captured, and the Median Empire collapsed in a single day. But what did Cyrus do with his defeated grandfather? In a move that stunned the world, he spared Astyages and granted him the honor of a king in retirement. This act of mercy was the first sign of a new era, a way of rule the world had never seen. With Persia and Media united, Cyrus turned his gaze westward toward Lydia, a land of fabled riches, ruled by the legendary Croesus. Croesus, renowned as the richest man alive, laughed at the idea that a former shepherd could threaten his golden throne. His cavalry was unmatched, his fortresses impregnable, and the gods themselves, he believed, favored him. But Cyrus was no ordinary adversary. Understanding that horses were terrified by the smell of camels, he devised a plan. In the great battle at Petreiaia in 547 BCE, Persian camels led the charge. The Lydian horses panicked, chaos erupted, and the Persian archers seized the moment. The mighty Croesus was defeated and taken captive. According to custom, Croesus should have been put to death, but Cyrus, ever the innovator, spared his life and made him an advisor. When Croesus asked why, Cyrus replied, "A wise enemy is better than a foolish friend. Teach me how to govern these lands I have won." Word spread across the ancient world. Cyrus was not a destroyer, but a liberator, a conqueror who sought wisdom over vengeance. Next, Cyrus set his sights on Babylon, the greatest city of its age, legendary for its walls and its grandeur. King Nabonidus, proud and secure, believed his city untouchable. But Cyrus knew that the mightiest walls are useless if the people inside have lost faith in their rulers. Through a network of envoys and spies, Cyrus spread a message: "I come not to destroy, but to free. You will worship your gods, speak your languages, and live by your customs." The people of Babylon listened. On the night of October 12, 539 BCE, the city gates swung open without resistance. The people greeted Cyrus not as a conqueror, but as a savior. Yet, Cyrus's most extraordinary conquest was not of land, but of the human heart. After entering Babylon, he issued a declaration that would echo through the ages. The Cyrus Cylinder, cast in clay, inscribed in cuneiform, it proclaimed principles unheard of before. "I grant all peoples the freedom to worship as they choose. No one shall be enslaved for their faith or their birth. All exiled peoples may return to their homelands. All temples destroyed shall be rebuilt." This was more than a royal edict. It was a revolutionary idea, an empire built not on fear, but on tolerance and respect. 40,000 Jews, long held captive in Babylon, were allowed to return home and rebuild their temple in Jerusalem. Hundreds of other peoples found peace and dignity under Cyrus's rule. It was a transformation of governance itself. Where others ruled by terror, Cyrus ruled by consent. For this, he was hailed in the Hebrew Bible as the Anointed One, a title reserved only for the holiest kings of Israel. In the lands he conquered, 23 nations, from India to Egypt, from Greece to Afghanistan, lived in harmony beneath the banner of Persia. The legacy of Cyrus did not end with his death in 530 BCE, far from home, on a campaign in Central Asia. The empire he forged endured for over 2 centuries, a beacon of unity and diversity. When Alexander the Great, centuries later, conquered Persia, he stood in awe before Cyrus's tomb and wrote, "Here lies Cyrus, who gave laws to all of Asia." Cyrus's influence stretched far into the future. Thomas Jefferson, author of the American Declaration of Independence, studied the Cyrus Cylinder for inspiration. Today, the United Nations preserves a replica of the cylinder as a symbol of universal human rights. In a world still divided by conflict, faith, and identity, the story of Cyrus remains a powerful reminder. True strength lies not in imposing one's will, but in honoring the differences of others. Cyrus proved that a great leader is not one who inspires fear, but one who earns trust and loyalty, who unites people behind a shared vision. From an abandoned shepherd boy to the founder of the world's first true empire, Cyrus the Great left humanity a lesson for all ages. To conquer land is easy, to conquer hearts is hard. But when you win the hearts of people, the world itself is yours. Such is the story of Cyrus, the shepherd who became king, the conqueror who became a liberator, the ruler who became a legend. His legacy endures wherever people dream of justice, freedom, and dignity for all.